English literature. Introduction to poetry. Because I could not stop her death. Emily Dickinson. Brief questions with answers. Question 1. Where and when was Emily Dickinson born? Or where and when did he die? Answer. Emily Dickinson was born in 1830 in Amherst, Massachusetts, USA. She died at the same place in 1886. Question 2. What was the religious belief of Emily Dickinson's father's family? Answer. Emily Dickinson's father's family followed Calvinism. Question 3. Who did influence most Emily Dickinson's spiritual life? Answer. Charles Wordsworth influenced Emily Dickinson's spiritual life most. Question 4. When was Because I Could Not Stop Her Death first published? Answer. Because I Could Not Stop Her Death was first published in 1890 posthumously. Question 5. What type of poem is Because I Could Not Stop Her Death? Answer. Because I Could Not Stop Her Death is a spiritual lyric. Question 6. What is the main theme of Because I Could Not Stop Her Death? Answer. The main theme of Because I Could Not Stop Her Death is mortality or acceptance of death. Question 7. What is the central image in Because I Could Not Stop Her Death? Answer. A journey from life to death is the central image in Because I Could Not Stop Her Death. Question 8. Why has the poet used past tense in Because I Could Not Stop Her Death? Answer. The poet has used past tense in Because I Could Not Stop Her Death because the speaker tells in her experience of death that took place centuries ago. Question 9. Who initiated the journey? Answer. Death initiated the journey. Question 10. Who were in the carriage in Because I Could Not Stop Her Death? Answer. The speaker, death, and immortality were in the carriage. Question 11. Why did the speaker fail to stop for death in Because I Could Not Stop for Death? Answer. The speaker failed to stop for death because she was busy with her daily course of life. Question 12. What impression does the speaker give about death in Because I Could Not Stop for Death? Answer. The speaker gives the impression that death is very gentle and cordial. Question 13. What do school, gazing rain, and setting sun symbolize in Because I Could Not Stop for Death? Answer. School symbolizes childhood, gazing rain symbolizes maturity, and setting sun symbolizes a dying person. Question 14. What does dews drew, quivering, and chill mean in Because I Could Not Stop for Death? Answer. Dews drew, quivering, and chill means the coldness that overpowers human body after death. It signifies that the speaker is already dead. Question 15. What does the gossamer gown signify in Because I Could Not Stop for Death? Answer. The gossamer gown signifies the shroud made of very fine silk. It is the thin burial cloth that with which the speaker's dead body was wrapped. Question 16. Where did the carriage of death pause in Because I Could Not Stop for Death? The carriage of death paused in front of a house. The house symbolizes a grave. Question 17. When did the speaker die? Answer. The speaker died centuries ago. Question 18. What happened to the journey undertaken by death at the end of Because I Could Not Stop for Death? Answer. The journey continued towards eternity. Question 19. Give a list of the main symbols in Because I Could Not Stop for Death and their respective meanings. Answer. School, gazing rain, and setting sun have been used as symbols which respectively mean childhood, ripeness or maturity, and end of life or descent into death. Question 20. Give an example of anaphora used in because I could not stop for death. Answer. We passed has been repeated thrice in the poem. It is an example of anaphora. Question 21. Cite at least 3 examples of personification from because I could not stop for death. Answer. Death, immortality, and a setting sun are 3 examples of personification in because I could not stop for death. Question 22. What figure of speech do you find in Emily Dickinson's use of my liver and my leisure? Answer. Her use of my liver and my leisure means her whole life, with which the words liver and leisure are related. This kind of use is called metonymy. Question 23. What figure of speech is in the following lines? Since then it's centuries and yet each feels shorter than the day. Answer. There is a paradox in these lines. Okay, thank you viewers for watching my video.